Yeah, sorry about that. I had to log in as an attendee and I didn't have any control over the screens. Apologies. So hence the reason for the wait. I'm just going to move. No, I'll leave that there actually. There we are. Just move that out of the way. Right, I've actually gone very quickly. I know we're kind of running over time, but just wanted to highlight this. Just run over onto the majors matrix, what I call the majors matrix. We've got cable, Aussie dollar, euro dollar, dollar CAD, New Zealand dollar, dollar Swiss down at the bottom. So it basically gives you a visual perspective, and this is, if you like, if you don't have the currency matrix, this is what it is. It is a matrix of the dollar in essence on the majors. But what it gives you from a visual perspective, obviously you can see over here, we've got the currency strength, we've got decent selling in the pound. For the time being, we had a lot of buying in the Aussie. And that was reflected in cable, which you see here. But when you actually look at the Aussie dollar alongside it, you think, well, you know, why hasn't that mirrored that particular move? And the reason is very simple, because the Aussie up here is moving in a similar direction to the dollar. So therefore there is no, as Anna was highlighting, there's no divergence of momentum. In other words, you haven't got strong buying that counterbalanced with strong selling, which you certainly did have on cable, where you had this very strong selling of the pound, counterbalanced by very strong selling of the dollar. And hence you see this nice reaction lower, which you do not see in the Aussie dollar. You certainly see it over here in euro dollar. It's continuing lower. You've got selling of the euro, you've got buying of the dollar. We move down to the inverse, and what's so nice about using a matrix in this way, it's another aspect of trading which gives you different perspective from a volume perspective, the VPA analysis, if you will. Because now what we're looking at here is the inverse of what we were looking at in terms of the pound dollar. So this is now the dollar CAD. So selling of the dollar is reflected in selling of that particular currency pair. And what's nice about it is obviously it's confirmed with the trend monitor. So, you know, you're looking at it from an indicator perspective. You're looking at it from the volume down here perspective. What you're also looking at it from is the perspective here. And you can see we've got rising volume. Then we get a volatility trigger on the dollar CAD. Coupled with high volume, you're therefore expecting something to happen. You're expecting either a reversal to take place or at least congestion. We get congestion. Now, you might be trading a cable chart, or you might be trading a euro chart, but the fact is you're looking at an associated pair through the prism of the dollar, which is giving you another perspective, not only in the chart itself, but also from a monitor, from an indicator perspective, and very much also from the volume perspective. And then down at the bottom here, I've got the tick speedometer, which is also indicating very clearly where you're seeing activity rising, where it goes to green. Now we're back into orange, so we're seeing, you know, we're ticking along at a nice, sensible pace here. When you get these red phases, that is when you've got low activity. That is when the price spread, the price action will narrow, and price spreads will move into a congestion phase. But as we pick up, we come out the other side. Now we've got lots of green activity. We had the green up here. We're in orange at the moment. If we get some big volume coming in, we'll see that punctuated with green. So the tick speedometer associated with the chart gives you that all-important perspective on participation, activity, which you see represented in terms of the volume here. So it's just a terrific way. And obviously down here at the bottom right, we've got the dollar Swiss, which is the inverse of euro dollar. So if euro dollar's falling, all things being equal, you expect to see the dollar Swiss rising in tandem with it, because generally speaking, the two are pretty close in terms of correlation. They're not perfect. On occasion, they've got almost up to 1, but you know, it's a good relationship that does come and go a little bit, but typically that is the relationship. It's an inverse of the two. So what we're seeing is another way of using multiple, these are not multiple timeframes, but they are multiple charts of associated pairs, and it just gives you so much information. So I would urge you to have this up somewhere, and you can make these up for yourselves, or you can invest in the currency matrix, which does it all for you automatically. It doesn't give you the visuals on volume, obviously, but this could be an alternative chart somewhere else, so that you can look at the volume perspectives. And you know, coming back to this chart for cable, it tells you so much. What is like to happen next? Well, we've got a support platform coming into play on the accumulation distribution indicator. So from a price perspective, we've got some fairly serious levels here. We've got one here, we've got the volume point of control itself, plus we've got this level here. So at the very least, we're expecting some congestion around here because we've got a ton of volume and we've got a ton of price action. So if you were looking at this as a scalping trader and thinking, oh, great, well, I'm going to jump in here, you know, let's make some money. That's fine, but you've got to be aware of what is in the way of that particular move. You've also got to be aware, going back to the CSI, you know, what is driving this move? Is it being driven by one particular, in other words, an asymmetrical force where it's being driven on one side? The answer in terms of cable is no, it's being driven on both sides because you've got strong buying of the dollar, you've got strong selling of cable. But then you're back to trying to decide, where am I going to get in? You know, is this a good trade for me? What is the risk? The risk is high because we're moving into this region here of congestion, potential congestion. We've got a support platform that's like to come into play here. We're at the volume point of control. So jumping in right now is probably not the best idea. There's a nice example here. These are candles I look for in all price waterfalls. Volume rising and weakness. That is a sure sign of weakness. The market makers are selling into weakness here. The market's weak and down we go again. Probably not very long-lived, this particular trade, because we're trading here. However, that said, once we break through, if we get through this region and this pressure continues and we get through here, then what is the next phase? Could that be a good trade? Certainly could be, because once we get through this lot, we're down into low volume here, falling away the whole time. So it's a good opportunity. That's it. I think we've run over time a little bit. Apologies for the slight gremlins in the system. Hope you've enjoyed today. Let me just highlight where all the bits and pieces are. This is where you'll find us, quantumtrading.com. This is where all the indicators are, MT45, NinjaTrader 7.8 and TradingView. TradeStation is coming, I can assure you. We're currently working on support pages and everything's been tested, all works great. That's on both 9.5, which is the relationship between TradeStation and interactive brokers. In other words, basically use the interactive brokers feed as your data feed. It's very powerful. And obviously it gives you all the advantages of trading a deep discount brokerage. We have an IB account, I'm sure you know, trading a deep discount brokerage against with the power of TradeStation on 9.5. And then we've got version 10, which is TradeStation Securities, which has everything, including radar screen. You've got radar screen on 9.5 as well. It's massively powerful. It's a fantastic platform. And we're looking forward to getting that launched and up and running. And we will be running webinars on that also, as you would expect. This is where you'll find the Forex programs. It's the complete Forex trading program, because that is what it is. All the modules here, we cover relational in detail, fundamental. Technical is a deep dive into VPA, the mechanics of trading, everything you need to know to get started. And the module we always suggest you start with is psychology of trading, because if you understand who you are, your strengths and weaknesses, and there's a big test in there as well for you, so you get all the information you need, you will then have a much greater chance of success in this business, because you will be matching what you do to your strengths and managing your weaknesses accordingly. We all have them, you know, it's just a question of knowing what they are, and then you align your personality, your psychological makeup to the best opportunity to give you success in trading. There's over 200 hours of videos in here, VPA chart examples, how to use the indicators, pulling it all together, topic webinars, webinar library and resources. It's all here, and it includes obviously the full suite of trading indicators, whatever platform you select. And of course, we'll be adding TradeStation here shortly. And it's all backed up with the VPA Traders Room, which Anna and I host. We're there all day, every day to answer your questions. Finally, that's Anna's site, annacooling.com. You'll find all the books there. They're on Amazon. They're in both Kindle and paperback formats. You can find them all there. And obviously all the blog posts that go up there with the analysis and so on and so forth. And of course, there's Anna's Facebook pages as well, with the Forex Facebook page. If you have any questions, we're happy to answer them. Just email us. It's david@quantumtrading.com. Anna is anna@annacooling.com. Hope you've enjoyed today. Enjoy the rest of the trading session. It's looking lively. So it's all good stuff. And if you're not with us on Thursday for the US futures session, which is 5:15, we will see you same time next week at 7:45 London time. Enjoy the rest of the day. Stay safe, and we will see you again soon. Bye for now.